Hi guys, welcome to Code Tutorial. This is our fourth lecture of Angular Live series, and the topics that we are going to cover today are the bindings. Okay, so what are the topics that we are going to cover today? Are the different type of bindings that are present in your Angular. So, in short, till now, what we saw is the interpolation, right? Till now we saw interpolation means we can show the value of any variable by using the this interpolation. Okay, other than that we have the concept of property binding, attribute binding, event binding, and style binding. uh, They may be the small topics, but when it comes to the interview point of view, these are going to be your interview questions. But because they are the small topics and they expect that the person will explain easily or simply, right? So that is the thing. And the last thing that we are going to cover in this one is the red input decorator. All right. So first of all, let me open our Angular application on which we are working. So let us go over here where it was demo A. Right click, open with code. Okay, so my application is getting load, and what I will do, I will just start ng serve. Okay, so terminal is here. Let us type ng serve. So it will get open. This is the VS Code issue, so not a problem. Let us get done. Then I will create a separate component for binding practice and we will work on that. But first let it get started. So till now, let us do a short revise. This was the styling section that we done. Then our here we work with what are imports, array of JSON objects, what are objects. All these things are already covered. Now we are going to the concept of binding. Then we will go and see the directive in the details. All right, so it is loaded. Go over here. Fine. So it is working fine. Now let us go and create a simple component with the name binding example. So ng-gc is the command to create the component, and binding eg is the name I am trying to give. Okay, just press enter. It will create the folder with the name binding and create the four corresponding files, that is .css, html, ts, spec.ts. All right, so this is done. No, this is user list. Let's try ng gc binding eg. All right, so it is over here, that is the binding EG. Go, let us go to its HTML component, add this one over there, and over here I need to import the same. So here I am going to write import, what was the name, binding EG component from this, and let us add it to the import section also. All right, now this component is ready to export, and let us see over here. As we know, the selector will be app dash binding EG. So let's copy this, go to our app component.html. Let me comment this user list component and paste it over here. All right, and now let's see what is coming. Simply binding EG1. So the very first thing, now we are going to work on this binding EG only. So suppose I have the property with the name, say, user name, okay, and username is equal to, say, John, okay. So let us go over here, where is its HTML, and let us first see with the interpolation, that is welcome, and this will be what, John, okay. So this is what your very simple interpolation, okay. Next thing is what, that is the property binding, okay. So how I can define the property binding is, suppose I have the property of button disabled, okay. So we'll write over here input type is equal to button, and value is equal to click here, okay. And then we have the property with the name disabled, that can be true or false. So let me write what disabled is equal to, and now I will bind it with some value, that is either true or false, okay. So we'll go over here and say d is equal to, you can give it any value, true, false, okay. So this value will get bind with our here. So this is what you are doing, you are binding the property, okay, that is disabled is equal to d. All right, so it's not John, it's a username, yeah, username and d. So you can see welcome John, and this button is disabled because I bind this property with the variable whose value is what, true. Disabled means disabled is equal to true, means your button is disabled, right. And if we want it to enable, we can do false, means if this property is false, then the disabled is false, and but obviously your button is going to be enabled. So this is called what, property binding. Fine. What is the next thing, that is the attribute binding. Attribute binding means what, means uh, you know, for some elements we have the attributes, like for image I have src, for anchor tag we have the href and all, okay. So let us create src is equal to some string, that is xyz dot blah 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 dot jpg, okay. So this is a string. Now what I want to do, I want to bind this src value, okay. what I want to do is to bind this src value to the source property of image. So over here we are going to write img src is equal to, one way we can do like this, right? That's also fine, so that the value will come over here. Other than that, you can do simply attr dot src is equal to this one, like is equal to src value. Now, okay, since we don't have the proper url, it is but obvious not going to come. If you have the proper url, it is definitely going to work. So this is called your attribute binding. Next thing is what? The style binding. Okay, so style binding means what? Suppose I have this div and let us write hello world. Okay, so over here we want to do some styling and all. So you can simply write that style dot background dash color is equal to whatever is the value you want to give. So let us take a variable over here with the name color, or is equal to yellow green. All right, and we will come over here and pass it the value color. Okay, and let us check. It's not updated. So you can see over here, this is the hello world and background is updated. The next thing what we have is the event binding, means we want to call some function on the event. Okay, so if I create a normal function over here, say, and I will change the this simple username from this function. Okay, so let us create a function change username, or simply write change name, and pass a value n of what type? String, or simply change the value. Let us don't make it complex. So this is the simply change name. What I am saying that when this particular function will get called, so the value of username will change to Maria. Okay, and I want to change these properties also. So this is just for the learning purpose, and over here change the color to uh, yellow, right? And since this is a class, you cannot access these things without using this is the object of current class. Okay, now I want to call this change name on the click of that button. We have one button right over here. So let us see over here, if I write on click is equal to, this is the name of the function. Let us save it, go to the browser, and let me inspect it also. So you can see over here, when I click, you can see change name is not defined, but I created a function with the change name. And if you know JavaScript, we always call the function in this way only, right? So for that reason, we need what? The event binding. Okay, so simply we are going to use click. Okay, and this is what the event will get bind. You can say welcome Maria, hello world. Okay, so this is called what? Your event binding. Okay, so today I am going to cover this four things only. Okay, in the next lecture I will show you what are the input and output decorators, so I will cover up both of them together. Before that, I try to practice these things because they are the small but useful things. And if you see code of someone, definitely you are going to see all these things a number of times. All right. So do practice.